Morning broke in the small hamlet of Chillipahua to the tune of whinnying horses and canvas flapping in a gentle breeze. I awoke refreshed and stepped out into the cold air to survey my surroundings. As the shadows retreated from the rising sun, our cooks began preparing what I knew would be another amazing meal, giving me time to collect my gear and my thoughts for the upcoming day.
All right, good morning. It is Monday, and we have just gotten up, just woken from our first night on our trek to Ollantaytambo. We slept at about 12,000 feet last night. Today we'll be heading up to a pass at 15,000 feet. But I slept well, everybody seems to be in good spirits, and we're in a really cool little valley. I got up at about 5:30 and the sun hadn't come up yet. It was cold, but it was so pretty. You know, with the livestock and just all the greenery on the slopes. It was just incredible. These mountains are so beautiful. Today's supposed to be the hardest day of the trek. So, what does that mean? Elevation. I think it's in terms of length, time duration. Today will be a little bit shorter than yesterday, but yeah, it's just the elevation and the fact that we'll be going up for most of the day. We'll just have to go slow, take lots of breaks. Everybody did well yesterday. Hoping the rain and the clouds hold off, and should be some really good pictures. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
After fueling up on some much-needed coffee, I set out to explore the area and meet a few of its residents.
Hey there, little puppy. Looking for food, huh? You looking for food? I wonder if you're one of the dogs that snuck into the tent last night and started licking people's hands. There's a little girl that's wandered into her camp along with her team members here. I don't know what she's asking for. She probably speaks Quechua. Up in the highlands here, a lot of people don't speak Spanish. Although Spanish is growing in popularity, it is mostly Quechua.
Watching this girl at play, I was humbled by her joy, strength, and love of life, despite the obvious shortage of food, clothing, education, and healthcare in her village. Another scarce commodity here in the Andes is clean water, and many villages have only polluted rivers and streams to draw from. As I checked out the local water source, it occurred to me that I was also consuming it, in the coffee I had just drank and the food I was about to eat.
So one of the most important things that we can have, whether we're hiking or not, is of course water. Gotta get your water from somewhere. We didn't pack it in, so we get it from local sources. It's a little concerning. That's the downstream side of the water source. But when I say downstream, I mean the upstream is right here. There's our pod. So supposedly the water is being boiled. Well, it is being boiled. It's being filtered and treated with iodine as well. But last night when we were in our tent, I was handed a water. My water bottle had been filled, and it was backlit by the lantern, and there was a lot of stuff in it floating, or suspended, I should say. So I've been using iodine tablets, water purification tablets. So far, so good. But that is an issue. And I asked our guide, Jesus, does he drink the water, even in Cusco, tap water? He said no.
So even the locals, with the exception maybe of some of the rural populations, they know that you don't want to be drinking out of that. No bueno. But we were drinking the water, even if it was supposed to be treated. I tried not to think about this as I finished preparations for the day's trek. Food was laid out, and I sat down to a breakfast of papas fritas, bread and jam, and more coffee. The chill was gone from the air when I stretched my legs, gathered gear, and set out for the climb. And off we go. Day 2 of our trek begins. We're headed up there and beyond. The weather was perfect, a far cry from yesterday's cold rain. Our route out of Chillipahua led us up, past farms, fields, and agricultural terraces. During the first hour, we observed several traditional homes built of adobe and straw. According to our guide, many of the people here live according to the ways of their ancestors, virtually unchanged from the days of the Incas. However, I couldn't help but notice power lines running to many of the structures. I just wanted to take a rest and show you the scenery. Very beautiful. You can see right here, that's the pass we went through yesterday. So I'm at roughly the same elevation. We took plenty of stops on the way up, giving me time to snap pictures of this beautiful land. Meanwhile, our muleteers had already caught up with us on their way to set up lunch farther along the trail. So we've reached our first stop, around 14,000 probably. We'll eat a couple light food items, drink some water, rest our legs a little bit for the next leg of the upwards trek, that'll be the one that is really going to have us breathing hard. But so far, I can't complain. I feel like I'm doing well. I've prepared for this hiking around Colorado. I'm also chewing lots of coca leaves, which really have no pharmacological, you don't feel it. I guess they do have some effect though, and that is on a little bit of clarity. They help with energy, help fight soroche or altitude sickness, give you a little bit more clarity. But yeah, passing all the way up, passing a lot of sedimentary rock, shales, sandstones, limestones. Of course, this is all Mesozoic era sedimentary, and most of the gold and copper and silver comes from the porphyry belts that run through this region. Once we get closer to Ollantaytambo and Machu Picchu, we'll see more igneous rock, primarily granite. So I'm looking forward to seeing the methods that the Incas used to quarry those large stones and maybe speculate how they moved them to places like Ollantaytambo. But for now, we're just going to enjoy this beautiful view. At this point, I was introduced to a number of new foods, including granadilla, a fruit with a sweet, jelly-like pulp. Passion fruit.
Passion fruit or granadilla.
Or alien guts. Bueno. After resuming the trek, we encountered these families harvesting potatoes on the steep slopes. Potatoes are an ancient crop in Peru, dating back thousands of years. By some accounts, more than 3,000 different types are still grown here. While alpaca and llama are also natives of this land, sheep were introduced much more recently, perhaps some 500 years ago by the Spanish. Halting to catch my breath, I evaluated how far we'd come and how far we still had to go to reach the pass of Accoccasa 2,000 feet higher. In truth, I had only a vague notion of what lay ahead, and so the three peaks staring down at me took on an increasingly ominous character the closer I got. At the very least, they seemed distinctive enough to deserve a title, and our group declared them the Three Sisters. Okay, we're continuing the trek.
Going up, up, up. In the very distance, you might see some white-capped mountains. The tallest is Alsangate, which is near Cusco. It's over 19,000 feet. Right now, we just took a measure on our altimeter. We're at 13.9. 13.9. We're at about 14,000 feet. A little waterfall and interestingly a little skull. We are approaching our pass at 15.2, I think. But this could have easily been, or is, a waka, or sacred place in the local culture, local belief system. The picture says 1,000 words. The video says 10,000. Look at this view behind me. Okay, for you geologists, we've got shale at over 14,000 feet, which means all this was at or near sea level, obviously, at one time, unless it was like maybe a high elevation lake. But just as a result of the tectonics in the Andes, it was uplifted a few miles. Pretty amazing.
Our team stopped for lunch in a boulder field situated at over 14,000 feet. It was considerably colder now, and I was looking forward to some hot tea before our final push.
See our camp back there behind us? Still a little ways to go. Weather's obviously cooler. No complaints on this end. Happy to be here, amigos. Let's go get some tea.
Sipping my tea, I gave thanks for being in Peru and for the chance to experience one of the most beautiful places on earth. At last, our rest was over, and it was time to head for the pass.
Okay, enough horsing around. Siesta's over. It's time to put our backpacks on and hit the trail again.
The final climb only took an hour, during which I was too out of breath to do much filming. I just kept my head down and put one foot in front of the next. But I was at least glad to see that I wasn't the only one struggling in the thin air. Even the pros were having to work for this.
And wow, I want you to share this view with me. Totally worth the climb.
Our muleteers soon passed me, as they always did, and immediately descended into the Chancachuco Valley to set up camp for the night. I remained atop the ridge for another 20 minutes or so, taking in the spectacular view of the Urubamba Range, knowing I'd probably never be here again. Several rock cairns marked the rim, built by others who'd come this way, perhaps centuries ago, who found the view just as impressive, if not sacred. At last, spotting a herd of llama on the slopes below, I grabbed my trekking poles and started the much easier downhill walk towards Ollantaytambo.